Hello and welcome to the 19th hole. This is our DFS podcast. We're part of the Roster Geeks Network. And we're here to talk about DFS fantasy with you, fantasy golf. On the network, we'll be aiming to bring you the type of coverage and information that makes it more fun for you to play daily fantasy sports. So we're not going to claim to be the super experts who win a lot of money because we're not claiming to be that. Even though a lot of people do, and I'm sure some people are very successful, and those podcasts are great as well. But we want to be a podcast that just strives to give you information and some fun things to watch throughout the week so that you have more of a reason to watch DFS, which is the reason why I play in my personal experience. It's a really fun game. There's numbers, there's strategy, and it allows me to have more fun when I watch the game. So that's our goal here. We want to share information. We do have an algorithm that we use to create projections, and we use those projections to make lineups. We do mass multi-entry, we do regular GPP, and we do cash game lineups. We'll go through kind of all those things. And this week we have the Northern Trust. I'm here with Chase Vin. That's his DraftKings username. His name's Vincent Chase. So pretty easy. Introduce yourself, Vin.
What's going on, guys? Hope we do good this week.
Heck yeah. So I am Right Hook. That's my DraftKings username. If you ever want to play me on there, you'll see me on a few podcasts on this network. Hopefully, we're aiming to have a season-long fantasy football podcast, a DFS football podcast, and we are hoping to have a tennis podcast launching soon for the U.S. Open. So, just stay tuned for all those things. And yeah, here we go. We're gonna go off on it. We right now have all our projections updated, and the first guy that we've looked at that has really great numbers this week is Justin Rose. And me and Vin were discussing how there was a knee injury previously. And Vin, tell him how you felt a little bit about that knee injury for Justin Rose previously.
I think it was more of his back and his knee, but
Sorry, his back. Oh my
gosh. Yeah, it was back, but yeah, it's been a struggle for him. That's why he withdrew. I think pretty sure it was 2 weeks ago, but he should be getting healthy now. But the price on him, 9.9, yeah, I think it's gonna fit him well. I think he might be one of the top ones this week.
Yeah, so the back injury that he had was prior to the PGA Championship. My bad, it was a back injury. Jeez. Okay, anyway, prior to the PGA Championship, he had the injury. He withdrew the week before. I think it was really more of a precaution for him to be able to, have more, just feel more healthy when he went out to the PGA Championship with that being a bigger tournament. And then he also had last week off, so I think he's going to be feeling fine. He looked fine at the PGA Championship. I had a decent amount of ownership with him. I curtailed it a little bit because of the back, but he wound up playing fine. He wasn't amazing, but he was solid. So I think he should be fine this week too. I'm not too worried about it. But so he is our number one ranked player this week. He has the highest projection of any player that we have. His odds are really, really good. His Vegas odds this week. Odds to win, odds to top 5, odds to top 10, all looking really solid. And obviously his odds to make the cut is phenomenal. I think he has the best odds to make the cut of any player on the slate. Yeah, his numbers are looking really good. And obviously, Vin, is there, you could talk a little bit more about other players kind of in that upper price area that you like. So go ahead.
Yeah, I would say number one for me this week in that top range is Jason Day. Well, Dustin Johnson and Jason Day. Both have been phenomenal this year. Day is my guy. I've been on him the whole year. I've been on him all last year too, even when he struggled. But
Vin
he's
has a thing for Justin Day, and you'll notice this as we go along. Jason Day, holy crap. Vin has a thing for Jason Day, and it manifests itself in him having ownership of him pretty much every single week. So
yeah, I take him a lot. And then Dustin Johnson. I mean, who hasn't been on Dustin Johnson this whole year? I mean, he's been incredible. He should be incredible this week and for the rest of the playoffs. So yeah, those are my two guys in that top range.
So in my model, Dustin Johnson comes in as the number 2 player right now in terms of projections. Like I said, Justin Rose. Jason Day is pretty high up there too. I believe he's the 3rd ranked player. So it looks like you're pretty spot on with my numbers of what you're looking at. So good stuff, Ben.
Yeah.
Moving down a bit. So one guy whose numbers I don't have very highly on, and I'm not going to play very much of this week. I actually am, unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, I didn't play very much of him either, and that backfired, but I do not have a lot of Koepka. I didn't have a lot of him that week either. I had a short little small percentage of him. Then do you think I'm taking too much of a risk? I may honestly completely fade him.
I mean, yeah, Koepka has been something else this week with the this year with the two majors. But yeah, I mean, I don't see him doing good this week either. But who saw him doing good the other week, where when he won the last major, the PGA Championship? But you never know with Koepka. That's been a whole year, even with his wrist injury, that people didn't think he would be good this year. And he said he might not even play golf again because of his wrist injury. But look at him now, 3 majors, 2 this year. He's been incredible. But this week, yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll play that much of him. I wouldn't completely fade him this week because you never know with him, but not a top play.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have some decently high ownership because people are going to start to realize, like, maybe I should play this guy. Maybe he is a good play. So, that to me signals that on top, I may, like you said, I may play a little bit, like a few percentages, maybe like a couple lineups that have him, but I'm not
Yeah,
going to go too heavy just because I don't like his numbers. His numbers are not he's not ranking very good at all in my model. He's actually ranking below some guys at like lower price points. And I do think the only thing with the fade is he is going to have a decent percentage, in my opinion, just because people are going to be like, this dude just won the PGA Championship. He's going to
yeah,
play really solid now,
yeah.
which, yeah.
That's where it would be. Yeah, yeah.
So you expect him to have high percentage ownership too?
I wouldn't say extremely high, but I would say like probably right 20, 17 to 20.
I think that's probably fair. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as the week goes on too if people start hyping him up. But so one guy who rates out highly for me, and I don't love him, is Molinari. I just can't see his price is just so high. When you put him in there with like Spieth and Rom and Rose, right in that price range, I just like he ranks
Yeah,
highly for me, and I know why because we can pretty much guarantee that he's going to make the cut. I just
yeah,
don't know if he has a great enough chance of actually winning the tournament. How do you feel?
yeah. His price is a little shaky. I mean, he's been good this whole year, consistent. But I mean, other than that, yeah, you want to make the cut, but if you're paying for him for 9.5, you more than make a cut, probably like a top 10, maybe top 5. But yeah, I
Do you see
mean,
it happening? Do you think he could top five?
oh yeah, I mean, who thought he would win the Open? And he ended up winning the Open. But I mean, it's Molinari. Molinari could have a good week or a terrible week, but yeah, you should have some shares of Molinari.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean he does rate out highly points wise, but I just don't love him.
Yeah,
One guy who I faded last time, it came back to bite me, but I'm going to fade him this time. That is a definite. Is Adam Scott.
oh man, huh. Adam Scott.
Okay, so do you agree with me on the fade?
I mean, yeah, he did good in the PGA Championship, but I mean, he struggled tremendously towards the end. But I would fade him this week, knowing I mean his price 8.9. He hasn't been. I'm pretty sure hasn't been in the high eights the whole entire year because of his PGA Championship run last week. That's probably why he's so high. But other than that, yeah, I would completely fade Adam Scott this week.
I hate when players. I mean, I don't hate it, but I hate having to look at players who are like priced really highly because they just did well. I was thinking it'd be really funny if they priced anybody really highly this week because they played well last week, despite the fact that like nobody played.
I mean, I don't even think. I mean, I could see that, yeah. But going back to Scott, I don't even think his percent's going to be that high. I don't think people are going to pay up 8.9 for Adam Scott when Finau's 8.5, Reed's 8.4, Paul Casey's 8.3. Zach
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's been having a good year. He's 8.7. I just don't see it.
Zach Johnson has been a guy that I have been on all year, and I'm going to
Yeah.
be back on him. Also, you have Cantley in that range. I don't know how you feel about Cantley. How do you feel?
Cantley's pretty consistent. I mean, I would take some shares of him this week. I could see him top T15, T10, but I mean, yeah, I like him this week.
Finau has been phenomenal too, especially in big spots. I think the number before the PGA Championship was that he had top 10 or better in the other 3 majors of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it because I had a good amount of Finau in the PGA Championship, and I think he started off like 4 over and then dominated the second day. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love playing Finau. That range has a lot of value. Like you were reading off good names, but like yeah, Finau, Cantlay,
Yeah.
ZJ, Paul Casey, and then you got Kuchar, who you said won this tournament before.
Yes, yes.
or
Not this
one,
turn. Yeah,
yeah,
at this venue. At
at
this
this
venue.
venue, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do you like Kuchar in that range or no?
I mean, for his price, yeah. I mean, definitely. Considering his course history here, 8-2. Other over the guys like I said, Scott, and I mean, yeah, I would play Kuchar this week a lot.
Yeah, I think right below Kuchar is where it starts to fall off because I'm not playing Ty Hatton. I'm not playing
No.
Bubba. I don't really like playing Rafa Cabrera Bello. I don't like Norin, and
Bayo has been in really good form though lately, and he came off a great Sunday at the Wyndham. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah, he has been good. I don't know. I always have a problem playing him. I just feel like he's not like for me. He doesn't. I don't know if he gets enough points, but I do agree with you. He has looked really good lately.
yeah.
Um, I don't like Norin, like I said. I don't really love Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele. You want to pronounce it? Go ahead. Give it a whirl.
Shoffley,
Schauffele.
Xander Shoffley.
What is the other one? Xander Schauffele. That's the other way I've heard it. How old is that guy?
Pretty young. He won the Tour Championship last year, but he didn't win the FedEx Cup. So
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Who else we got? Louis, a guy who is always my nemesis whenever I play him. Gary Woodland, who is popular at the PGA.
yep. I see him being popular again this week.
Yeah. Do you want to play him or no?
Yeah, Gary Woodland. I'm also a fan of him, even though he's a
So
little spray happy on the off the tee. But I'll take some shares in this week.
okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play him. I think I'm gonna go away from him this week. Like I said, I like the guys in the range above it, and I feel like if I play him and I play any of those guys in that range, I'm not gonna get enough of the guys above it. So I
Yeah,
think I'm gonna go heavy on the guys above there.
yeah, I could see that.
Kevin Na. I'm gonna go ahead and say hell nah.
I mean, he does have the good around the green here. He ranks fifth, but I mean, other than that, I don't see that much. I mean, you never know with Kevin Na. He could always have one of those days. Look at Brandt Snedeker last week. I'm not saying he's going to go shoot a 59, but whoever thought that Brandt Snedeker was going to shoot a 59 last week?
I sure as well didn't. I definitely
Yeah.
did not. Oh gosh.
Speaking of Brandt Snedeker, I'm having nothing of Brandt Snedeker at 9,000. That's just ridiculous.
That is called pricing a guy high because he won last week and he looked good. He looked really good last week, but
Yeah.
not worth it.
No, definitely not.
In terms of the numbers that you were looking at before, your guy rates out really nicely this week, and in the stats column, Jason Day is first on our list in shots gained putting, and first on our list on shots gained around the green. So how do you feel about that?
Like I said, he's the man. Been the man the whole year. Been the man the whole last year.
Can he win, though? Can he win this tournament?
Yeah, well, why can't he win? Give me an example why he can't win.
I'm just asking you. I'm just saying, can he win?
You just read the stats.
You're right, I did.
Putting's been ridiculous. He's awesome around the green. He could be a little better with the irons, but he's been better with. I mean, he's getting better with the irons, I should say. But overall, I think his game. Oh, also with the drivers, his driver's been a little spray happy too. But I could see that fixing this week. But yeah, Jason Day in all lineups, in every single lineup you make, Jason Day should be in it.
You want Jason Day in every lineup?
Yes.
That's bold right there, folks. And I will tell you right now, I don't know what Vin's going to do with his lineups, but I for sure am not going to have Jason Day in every single lineup. That's just not going to happen. But maybe if you want to do that, you can do that, Vin.
He's going to win.
You're saying he's coming in first. That's your call right here, right now.
He's winning the Northern Trust first leg of the FedEx Cup.
Wow. That right there is bold, folks. That right there is bold. All right, well, yeah, I mean, like I said, his numbers are very good. I mean, there's no taking that away from him. Dustin is 10th in shots gained putting and 7th in shots gained approach. So I think we're on to some really good guys here. Justin Rose is 3rd in shots gained putting. I mean, we're looking at some very good putters. Obviously, they're very good golfers all around too, but the three guys that we like are very highly ranked in putting.
Another guy who's been Yeah, I would say incredible this year. He won the Players. Who would thought that he would win the Players? Webb Simpson, he's seventh in putting and an approach. He's 15th. I mean, he's been having an incredible year too. So Webb
Un-
Simpson should be in some lineups also.
well, you gave a guy who has good recent form. I'm going to give you a guy who has not so great recent form. Phil ranks second in shots gained putting and ninth in shots gained approach in this
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah. I mean, I think people are definitely going to take Phil just because of his price, and it's Phil Mickelson. I mean, 7-3 for Phil Mickelson is pretty ridiculous, but his play this year has been off, especially for the last couple months. So I could see why people won't take him, but
Are you
also
going to
it's just
be on him or off him? What do you think?
I would some lineups with him, some not, but definitely less with some not.
With putting, and I will just tell you, this guy, I just was looking at his numbers, and his putting numbers are very poor. And I will definitely be off of him this week because I can't stand when I play him. Every time I play him, he plays poorly. And it's Luke List. Luke List, I'm having none of Luke List this week. I can tell you that right now. None of them.
Yeah,
Zero. I'm cutting him
I
out of my
am not
lineup.
one fan of Luke List. That if you take that guy, the week you don't take Luke List, he'll go win the damn tournament. The week you take Luke List, he'll come in like 141st.
That is a great explanation for it right there. I really like that. That is very good.
Yeah,
That
it's
is very, very good.
ridiculous.
Now, okay. So one other guy, and I was talking to you earlier about this, but this is a guy who I loved last week, and I thought he was going to get it done for me. But it is Brian Gay, and Brian Gay rates out 11th in shots gained putting, strokes gained putting, and ninth in fairway percentage.
Yeah, he's been one of the guys these last couple of weeks. He wasn't even going to play in the Wyndham, and he almost won the Wyndham. So Brian Gay, yeah, I like that play this week.
Good stuff. Okay, let me see who else. I'm looking through this list, and so I was just talking about Phil. I'm back on my projections now, and Phil rates out as my best value play in that range, right there around 7.2 to 7.7. He actually rates out with a very high percentage. I'm sorry, actually, him and Bryson DeChambeau. How do you feel about Bryson?
Don't even mention him.
Tell him about Bryson, Vin. Tell him about Bryson.
I don't like Bryson. I took him once, he didn't make the cut, and I never again.
Never again. So, okay, if I told you I was going to have 10% Bryson this week, would that be crazy?
I would go less.
Less.
Yeah.
Vin, you know what we need to do this week? I'm going to create 20 lineups, and you're going to create 20 lineups, and we're going to just stick them in the quarter arcade or something like that, and we'll just see how we do. What do you think?
That works.
That works? All right,
Yeah.
well, let's build it. After the show, we will build these lineups. It'll probably be closer to Thursday, to be honest, though. We'll probably
Yeah.
build them Wednesday night. And by the way, that just goes for everybody. Build your lineups close to the actual start of the tournament. Like, obviously, we're doing this early, and we're eager to get our video out and get our thoughts out on the golf tournament. And we're obviously looking at algorithms and a lot of different stats and stuff like that. But for you, especially if you're a novice player, like the best information that you're going to get is going to be as close to the tournament as possible. That's when odds update from Vegas. That's when you'll be able to access the most statistics. And you'll also be able to hear things from other DFS people. So make sure you do your due diligence before you just throw
Yeah.
lineups in there. Because I feel like, Vin, I feel like me and you both, like when we started playing DFS,
Yeah.
which for me was, like a couple years ago, like maybe 2 years ago now. Yeah, about 2 years ago. I remember being like just kind of throwing lineups together, especially for golf, because I was just like, oh, this guy could win, this guy could win.
Yeah.
But you don't have a lot of information to go off of. So I would just suggest you wait until.
Yeah, Wednesday. I always make my lineups Wednesday. Towards the night too.
Yeah, I mean, I think before the PGA, I was up until 4 a.m. making my lineups.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
we'll both make them, and then what we'll do is we will on Thursday after the tournament starts, we will share our percentages with each other and with you guys on Twitter. You can get me at Right Hook DFS, and the right is WRITE. So at Right Hook DFS, and Vin, you can tell them what your Twitter is too.
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me on Chase Vin.
Chase
on
Vin.
Twitter. Yeah.
Also, play him in DraftKings. If you want easy money, play Vin in a head-to-head on DraftKings.
You will lose.
Okay, Vin. So, let's keep going through the kind of
I
the
actually have a good value play. I don't know if he'll be a sleeper because I think he'll probably be pretty high owned. But going a little bit down, Chesson Hadley at
love me.
6'8".
Yes, and I had Chesson Hadley for the PGA, and
Yeah,
he played
Chesson
decently well.
Hadley. Yeah, for the well, he was all right for the PGA, but this
Hmm.
last week at the Wyndham, he had a great Friday, Saturday, but he had a little sluggish of a Sunday. But for 6'8", especially coming in with pretty decent, good form, I like Chesson Hadley this week.
Is there anybody else who sticks out to you in terms of form, Ben? Like anybody with really good form that you think we should look at? It could be anybody in the low range or kind of wherever, but anybody with either really good form or really poor form that you think is something that's important for people to know. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
yeah, at 7,000, Emiliano Grillo has been pretty good form recently, last couple of weeks. Keegan Bradley, he's been all right, decent form. Chris Kirk made the cut last week. He's 6'8", pretty cheap.
Chris Kirk's a pretty consistent golfer. I kind of
Yeah,
like him.
yeah, Chris Kirk is definitely one of the consistent golfers out there.
I'm gonna go back into my model really quickly and just see if I can pick out anybody else who's played really well. Obviously, when you start getting to these lower price guys, it's harder to find people. But you just said Emiliano Grillo. I have him rated out highly, but my favorite, like I said earlier, was Brian Gay in that
Mhm.
range right there in that low 7,000s range. There's not a ton of value here. Like there's guys like CT Pan played good last week, but I don't think I trust him this week.
Yeah, no, especially what happened on the 18th.
Yep. And what about okay, so I'm looking through this like JJ Spawn, no, right?
No,
What about Jamie Lovemark?
maybe some love Mark, but nothing crazy.
Charles Schwartzel, I never trust. I
Yeah,
don't love
no,
Pat Perez.
no.
Jimmy,
I'll go back on Pat Perez. He's been pretty decent this year.
okay. So you'll have a
Yeah,
little bit. I don't
yeah.
totally disagree with that. What about Jimmy Walker?
No,
That's another no. What
you
about
can't trust him anymore.
we already said Luke List. What about Aaron Wise?
He's actually been up and coming. I mean, a lot of people liked him at the PGA Championship. He's been decent lately. I would definitely take some shares of Wise.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I like Wise in that range. Um, Going below there, what about Russell Henley?
Yeah, I could see some Henley. I mean, he showed up for the Open. He was ridiculous at the Open. People thought he'd run away with it, but he ended up falling back a little bit. But that was July. I mean, yeah, you could take some Russell Henley, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that there too. Yeah, nothing too crazy, especially on most of these guys at the bottom. You mentioned Keegan, right? Didn't you mention Keegan a little bit earlier?
Yeah, yeah.
He rates out really highly for me. He's probably somebody that I will get a decent percentage
Keegan.
of. I'm
But
gonna guess.
also,
Go
for a
ahead.
good putting week, Kevin Kisner's been lights out putting. If he could just find his irons, Kevin Kisner could be in for another good week. His putting's been ridiculous.
What is Kisner's price point at right now?
He's at 7-3.
It's not bad, especially
Yeah,
in that range. Like I said, there's not a ton of value
yeah.
there.
Also, another good form. Going back to that is Kyle Stanley.
Kyle Stanley. Yep, he's
Yeah,
played well. I think I saw him rating out decently. I
yeah.
know
He's
that
7-3 also.
7-3. Okay. Kevin Streelman rates out fairly well for me. I'm not so confident in that. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't be too confident in Kevin Struman.
yeah, I might not actually wind up playing a ton of him, but he rates out decently. The other guy that like we had mentioned him earlier, but Hadley rates out super
Yeah,
well for me in that
yeah.
range.
Hadley's a great play this week.
And I think he'll be probably pretty low ownership. I know he's been playing decently,
Eh,
but
I would probably say tens.
you think 10? I'm thinking like 8.
Yeah, 10 or less. I don't think any higher than the 10.
Yeah, maybe like yeah, right around 10 is probably about right. But if we could get him in about 20 to 25% of our lineups, I think we may get some value there.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
also one of the probably the greatest golfer ever, Tiger Woods.
yeah, tell us how you
He's,
feel about him.
I mean, yeah, coming off the PGA Championship, one heck of a comeback that was. Definitely some shares of him, but I mean, you never know with Tiger. Obviously, he starts off slow, and the last couple events he's been in finishes great. But hopefully, Tiger can have that week when he's just constantly up there on the leaderboard.
And obviously we know that Tiger could do that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no doubt.
exactly. He's been so close.
So, okay. I have a question for you. This is not fantasy related, but were you rooting for Tiger?
Oh, to win, yeah. Who wouldn't be?
Okay. Was there? I forget what hole it was on now, but it was on the back nine, and he hit an iron in and stuffed it on the green to
Oh
like
yeah,
5 feet.
yeah.
I,
I think it was less than 5 feet. It
it
was
might have been less than
ridiculous.
five.
Yeah,
That might have been my favorite moment
yeah,
of this golf year. I have not
yeah.
been so pumped by a shot.
Crowd was going nuts.
I think I stood up in my living room and just like looked like whoa, like I was in
Yeah,
awe.
yeah. It was an unbelievable shot.
Was that your favorite moment of the golf season this year? Maybe not that shot,
I
but just
mean,
his entire round
oh
that
yeah,
day.
the moment was ridiculous, especially for it being Tiger Woods.
He's just got to get over the hump, man.
Yeah.
He's so close.
Hey, it could be in one of these legs of the FedEx Cup. You never know.
It doesn't disappoint you though. Like to me, I'm just a little bit disappointed because he was so close, and now we have to wait like 8 months, 9 months to be able to see him. We have another shot at a major.
Major, yeah, I know. They're ridiculously long apart. When the majors end.
I mean, to be fair,
I mean,
to
it's
be
ridiculous
fair.
that the next one's in April. I mean,
Well,
that's
to be fair though, you gotta think about this: is how many people on a Sunday are gonna stop watching football to watch the
yeah,
final round of a major?
yeah. Think
They
about
they
that.
do
Yeah,
position it well, but I feel
yeah,
you on that. It does bother
yeah,
me.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, good point.
Let me let's keep going here. Uh, a lot of these guys down here look pretty poor. Brendan Steele is always someone I'm a little bit interested in, but I don't know if I love him this week.
He's pretty consistent. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't love him this week either, but you never know with Brandon Steele. Brandon Steele's the type of guy. I mean, he can have a good round and fall apart very quickly, but some shares, maybe like 3 shares of Brandon Steele. Brendan Steele.
Okay. Then okay, so your favorite golfer is Jason Day. I think that's fairly apparent.
Yeah.
My favorite golfer this week, at least, rates out eighth in strokes gained putting, and it is Brian Harmon. What a freaking play this week! What do you think about him?
Yeah, yeah. That's I mean for his price too, 6'5". Hasn't been a great year for Harmon after last year because last year was his like breakout season. But yeah, this year has been a little bit down for him. But especially for his price this week, 6'5", and where he's been putting, I mean, yeah, I would take Brian Harmon.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not like fully sure why I'm so high on him this week, but I'm feeling some Brian Harmon. I don't know that means I'm going to put him in a ton of my lineups, but I'm definitely going to be overweight
Yeah,
on the
definitely
field.
some. Yeah, yeah, you definitely should be.
I think I'll be a good amount overweight on him this week, and I'm trying to look. Ryan Armour, I'll probably be overweight on as well. He's right there at the same price,
Yeah,
and Ryan Armour rates number one in fairways hit in the field this week.
pretty solid.
Fairway percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been
Um,
pretty consistent too.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not a ton of value beyond him. I don't know if I'm really going to play anybody down here. I just don't see, especially in such a big spot. I mean, I'm looking through this list. Like, do
I
you
mean,
trust Hadwin, for example?
no, 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 no. I
Is
mean,
there
if we're
anybody there you trust?
down that range, no more. But I mean, if we go back maybe to the mid sevens, low sevens, Ryan Moore, he's had a great Sunday at the Wyndham. I
Hmm.
would say he had a great week at the Wyndham. Fell a little bit, but his golf looks like he's coming back around. He ranks second in fairways percentage, fairways hit, so he's pretty accurate off the tee, and he ranks 13th in around the green. So for 7.5, Ryan Moore, he's one of the consistent golfers that would make the cut. And for 7.5, I mean, you would hope your guy makes the cut.
Yeah, especially right around that price range. I think if you are able to get a guy, like especially if you're playing cash game, I mean either way, really, if you're able to get a guy under 7,000 too, who can make the cut, which is why I like Harmon because I feel like he can make the
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
If you can get a guy in that price range that is going to make the cut or has a good shot at making it, it's a pretty, winds up being a pretty solid play for you because they don't have to do that much. They just have to
Yeah,
make the
there
cut.
is one more guy actually in the sixes that I like to make the cut and potentially more than just make a cut. Austin Cook. He's been having a solid year all around.
Hmm.
He ranks 13th in fairways hit, so he's accurate off the tee like Ryan Moore. And if he can get his irons going and make the cut, maybe do a little bit better than make the cut.
Yeah, that's a decent call there. I think Austin Cook has been a pretty solid play throughout the year too. To be honest with you, he's always pretty low priced.
Yeah.
All right, Vince. So let's go through real quick, and we'll wrap it up here soon. But let's go through real quick and just if you can give me maybe 3 guys for your cash game lineups that you're thinking about building around, if you have them. I know it's early, but 3 guys right now who you'd like to make your lineup with, like who you'd like to have in your cash game lineup this week.
I mean, yeah, for a lock this week for cash, I would say Day, Finau, and then I'll go guy in the 7s. I'd probably say Shoffley.
Wow. Okay.
Shoffley or Leishman, you can go both. Both are at 7-8, but I'll probably lean more towards Shoffley.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, I'm not shocked you said Day, obviously.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be Justin Rose, who I think I've said I love this week. I absolutely love him. It's really hard beyond that. But once you,
if there's one more, Kuchar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to definitely have Kuchar and cash.
Yeah.
So, okay, this guy always gets me because I feel like every time I play him in cash games, he winds up not making the cut. And the reason I take him is because he usually makes the cut, and it's Paul Casey.
Yeah.
I probably,
I was between Finau and Casey, but I think Finau's been better all around the whole year instead of Casey.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I probably will stick with Casey this week. But that could wind up going south fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The other guy, and I will lock him in my lineups pretty much in probably every cash lineup I make, and a decent amount. And I know you hate him, but I am going to go with Bryson DeChambeau.
Hey, that's you.
I might die on that sword, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah,
we'll see. But okay,
just keep his head together.
That is true. Yeah.
All
right, Vin, is there any one give the listeners before we stop one piece of advice? It can be whatever you want before we go off air.
About the week or
about this week. Who they should play, what they should do.
Yeah,
anything.
You
could tell them
definitely is
play Jason Day in every single lineup. That could be your piece of advice.
Well,
anything.
But if you're trying to build a lineup, there is a lot of decent guys towards the bottom. But also, if you try and go just balance a lineup of Shoffley, Leishman, Kuchar, Finau, and then potentially Fleetwood, that's a pretty solid balanced lineup right there. So if people like staying balanced instead of going stars and scrubs, that could also work this week.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good point. If you could get some of those guys in and balance them out, even if they balance them out maybe with one scrub,
or
one
lower end guys. Exactly.
For me this week, I think I'm just going to stick with the guy who I love so much this week, which, 2 guys. My advice is in GPP lineups, have Justin Rose and Brian Harman.
Good plays.
Yeah. So
you heard it here first with Jason Day winning.
Yeah, Vin's got Jason Day winning. So we do appreciate you listening, though. Thank you for taking our advice if you are planning on taking it. But thank you also just for listening and kind of hearing what we have to say. And we really hope, like I said earlier, that this is something that helps fuel your passion for golf and just for daily fantasy sports in general. That's what we're here for. We hope you enjoy it. Best of luck to you this week. Vin, you got any last words?
Yep, just good luck this week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you. See you guys.